Yesterday, we talked about Tinder's yearly report, where they report on all of the dating trends of 2024. It seems like all of these sites are doing this now, including Pornhub, if you know what I'm talking about. They released a list of their top search terms for the year, which I find far less interesting. What I did find interesting is the trends that defined 2024 in porn. And sadly, a lot of them were brain rot related. A lot of it was basically memes leaking into the world of explicit content.
Well, you know what it is also? Is like the minute somebody becomes famous, especially if they're a woman, they're just like, so where's the OnlyFans?
Exactly.
And they're shocked when they find out that they don't have one. Like they're still to this day shocked that Hawk Tuah doesn't have an OnlyFans. Though after everything that's going on with Hawk Tuah coin, she might have to open one someday.
Right, yeah. So I found this list of their year in review. The number one search term that rose to prominence on Pornhub in 2024 was demure. As you know, Jules LeBron, the TikToker, came up with this meme calling different things demure, mindful, and cutesy. And I guess that was a turn on for some people. It says searches rose 133% for the word demure and mindful on Pornhub, as well as searches for the word modesty and traditional sex and traditional clothes.
I think that's is that men, or is the idea of modesty or traditional sex a rise in women watching porn? There's obviously very separate markets. There are women that watch porn, and the market for that is a very different type of video than the stuff that's made for men.
They don't break it down by sex, who is searching for what in this one, but I'm not sure. It's interesting. I think that they cited some like sexual wellness expert that works for Pornhub who analyzed what it means.
That's like being the HR representative at a company.
It's like being an HR representative in any Hollywood studio, basically. Yep. This says the director of Pornhub's Sexual Wellness Center analyzed the trend, saying, "It seems like people may be pining for a simpler time, looking for things that are less complicated and maybe seeking out more meaningful experiences."
I mean, you're not actually seeking out more meaningful experiences. You're seeking out a video that shows you a facsimile of more meaningful experiences.
You could actually just have meaningful sex in real life.
There's a 20 there.
Duck Dad 80 said, "I fully support our household financially, but I give all the money to my wife, who then pays for everything. So I'm also the hug from behind guy at the register."
Well, the question is then, are you secure enough in your manhood that you don't feel the need to like explain to the guy at the register, like, look, I'm not giving the poor boyfriend hug. I'm actually the one paying for it. I just like to hug her.
But then they're like, I don't care as long as you're paying
bro,
for
I'm
your
not
food,
going to remember this tomorrow.
But that's funny though. The second trend that they listed here defining 2024 was related to the extremely popular Hulu series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which glorifies the polygamist and swinger lifestyle that is popular among some Mormons. And they got a whole reality show out of it. This says interest in wife and marital searches grew as users explored themes of tradition, including the term tradwife, which searches for the word tradwife on Pornhub went up by 72% this year.
Yeah, it is really like there should be, I'm sure there has been, but there should be more studies done about how you can kind of examine the culture's change through pornography searches. Like I remember somebody saying like, you know why nobody like, it's like a big one used to be back in the 2000s would be like looking up like babysitter, but nobody's having kids, so nobody has babysitters. So.
Right. Yeah, that is interesting. I'm sure it definitely predicts.
Or like sleeping with your neighbor. Well, nobody can afford houses. I can't sleep with my. I can't. They can't cheat on their wife with the neighbor because they don't have neighbors because they can't afford to get married and own a home.
No pizza delivery guy because the pizza is too
so
damn expensive.
I had to take a loan out to get a pizza from Domino's. I'm not also having sex.
Right, exactly. They say reflecting pop culture influences, searches for Mormon wife, Mormon sex, Mormon missionary, and Mormon threesome all rose significantly in 2024.
You know what the sad thing is the industry wins no matter what. No matter what the culture does, they win. Like the ultimate explanation of that is the fact that tradwife is like a thing that should be inherently anti-porn and is still pornified. So they win either way. No matter if the culture becomes more modest, there will still be people looking for somehow modest porn.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't, like, they win no matter what.
Yeah.
It's a rigged game.
And since we live in this culture of HR tyranny and, you know, you can't meet a spouse in the workplace, you can't flirt with a coworker because you're going to catch case, you're going to catch a suit, or you're going to get a reprimanding from your boss. I saw the third trend of 2024 was coworker.
Okay.
Searches for the word coworker on Pornhub rose by 92% in 2024 as people return to in-person work.
Yeah, you can't have any Zoom calls. Actually, now that I think about it, they can bring the pizza delivery guy back. He just has to be like a DoorDash person.
Also, office affair, sex in the office, workplace fantasy, all of these things rose in prominence on the website in 2024. And then
the Olympics.
In conjunction with the Olympics, there were a ton of searches related to athletes in the Olympics, including Paris, like sex Olympics, gymnastics, swimmer, athlete, volleyball, Paris, France, French, at the time at least, you know, during the summer. Yep. They said hentai was the #1 search for the 4th straight year. The weebs have gone too far.
The weebs have got to be stopped.
They must be stopped. I can't do it anymore. And then, of course, 6th trend on the list is Hawktua. This says the viral sensation of Hawktua resulted in 10 million searches for related content, influencing the popularity of terms like, okay, I can't even repeat some of this stuff on air.
When I saw that, I'm like, I don't think Mary's going to read any of those.
But there were a lot of searches for the actual phrase Hawktua on Pornhub in 2024, which is unsurprising. But the Demure thing kind of took me by surprise. I thought that was mostly a TikTok thing.
How does it connect in your brain?
Yeah. I also am surprised that so many people hadn't even heard the word before
Demure.
It became a TikTok trend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a word that was in my vocabulary somewhere.
Somebody out there is like, wow, well, I guess if it increases everyone's vocabulary, how bad could it be?
Yeah. And the way that they analyzed this and like what it means for society is just funny to me because they're the people who are actively making society worse.
They do these a lot of these websites do this every year. They have their roundup about what's popular. I mean, we did yesterday, what was it, Tinder? That we were talking about all the trends that have come out of Tinder in the past year.
Oh, I mean, Tinder's just kind of the place where trends happen nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah.
Their sexual wellness expert also said that the Mormon searches appear to signify putting excitement back and trying to keep fantasy alive even after putting a ring on it. So you're pitting marriage and having a healthy sex life against each other, meaning porn has to have a role to play. They obviously profit off of that. And they did not say anything about the Me Too movement or HR culture about the coworker searches because that was too touchy.
Yeah.
I just think that's the obvious reason why it trended.
Yeah.
If you're returning to working in person, and so many people for decades have met their spouses in the workplace, and now that's suddenly off the table, like that's not kosher anymore. I can imagine why it would be this suppressed thing.
Where they're like, it was normal for so long, now it's not. Why isn't it? I must explore.
Yeah. But the Hawktua thing is the least surprising of all. I would have guessed that would be #1.
Yeah. I actually was very, very surprised it wasn't higher on the list there.
It's the only one that's like inherently sexual.
I mean, what's weird about it is the brain rot stuff just feels so non-sexual to me. It feels so divorced from anything
like
intimate.
Next year in 2025, they'll release the list and the #1 search term will be knee surgery.
Yeah. The all of it, the point of all of it is that it's supposed to make people look insane. Like the people who are really good at making brain rot content don't rightly mix being attractive, even if they are like a traditionally attractive looking person, with the content, because the content is inherently mindless.
Right. Well, also porn is inherently mindless. So I guess it makes sense that these worlds intersected this year.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.